In this video, we're going to be replacing the rear shock on this 2011 Honda Odyssey. All right, with a 22mm socket, we're going to take off our rear wheel. Okay, our first two bolts are going to be up top here. They're going to be 14mm. We'll back those out. Down the bottom here, we have our last bolt holding on our shock. It's going to be a 17mm. What we're going to do is take our top off. We're going to get behind here with a pry bar and just push it forward. Okay, now from here, we can work off our bottom. Just using a pry tool to get behind our shock and push it out off of this tab here. At this point, what we can do is get behind the shock mount here. Just give it a few taps, try and persuade it out. All right, so what I ended up doing was compressing the shock just a little bit to try and help us work it out. Okay, so what we're going to do is put our shock up through, and we're going to put the bottom on first. But if you notice, our shock is at an angle and our bolt is at a different angle. Squeeze this in as much as you can. You will come to a stopping point. From here, what you can do is lower your suspension, and those two angles should come together at some point. You can squeeze your shock on. From here, what we're going to do is put our washer on, put our bolt on, and we're just going to finger tight these, and we're going to come around front and work on the top two bolts. Okay, now in the front, looking at the top here, we can see that we're just a little low. You may have just a little bit of pull left in there. Usually you don't. So what we're going to do is raise our stand, holding our rear suspension. And we'll get one lined up. And our second one lined up. And you may have to raise and lower half a turn or a turn to get these guys to go in. All right, once we got them pretty much in place, we're just going to use a hammer and hit on the bracket. You shouldn't need to really use a lot of force here. If you're having to use a lot of force, you're probably not lined up correctly. All right, so once we have our bracket flat against the vehicle, we can put our two nuts back on the top. We're going to snug these up. And we'll do the same on the bottom, and we'll come back and torque everything down. Our top two bolts, we're going to torque them down to 32 foot-pounds. Okay, and our bottom shock bolt here is going to be torqued down to 58 foot-pounds. Now we can release tension, upward tension on our rear suspension and get our jack out of the way here. All right, now with the vehicle on the ground, we're going to torque our lug nuts to 94 foot-pounds. We're going to use a 22 millimeter socket. We're going to go in a crisscross pattern.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.